My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/results to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/results. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of country throughout Australia and recognise their continuing connection to land, waters and culture. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging. Welcome to This Song Is Yours, a music podcast where we chat to a new guest each week, talk about their life and creative endeavours, and talk to them about some of the music they love. Our show works by chatting to our guests about music, their songwriting technique, and occasionally getting them to make you a playlist of the songs they love. Welcome to episode 138. I'm your host, Simon Fink. Our guest today on International Women's Day is Emmy Meli. The singer-songwriter from California has had an incredible year, which saw her debut single, I Am Woman, go viral on TikTok. In today's episode, we're speaking with Emmy about what inspired the hit song, how she got her start in music, and what advice she would give to young women starting out. Here we go. Our guest today is a rising singer-songwriter from Long Beach, California. Late last year, she released a snippet of a song that has now turned into a TikTok movement and self-love anthem, which now has over 110 million streams on Spotify. Please welcome to This Song Is Yours, Emmy Meli. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you today?
I'm great.
That's good. Where are you joining us from? You're joining us from California, I think.
Yes, LA specifically.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. What's it like there today?
Sunny but cold, actually, for once.
That is interesting. From all accounts that I hear is that Los Angeles is rarely encountering the cold or the rain.
Yeah, rarely ever. And even when it's cold, the sun is still shining bright.
That has to be like a silver lining of it, right?
Oh, yeah. It's hard to be sad when the sun is constantly shining.
Now, Emmy, I believe congratulations are in order because at the moment you have an absolute hit on your hands with I Am Woman. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a crazy, amazing whirlwind of events, and I'm very proud.
Of course. I can imagine that having a song that is so kind of steeped in self-empowerment and kind of, you know, you being your true self is having that resonate must be like an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's a super incredible feeling. All I've ever wanted to do through my music is inspire people. So I think it's quite fitting that the song that, you know, basically put me on the map is a song that's making such an impact in people's lives.
100%. The song, for anyone who might not have heard it, I would be surprised if they haven't by now, but for anyone who hasn't, it is a wonderful, self-love and affirmation kind of anthem. And I know for some people that gender identities or even the concept of self-love can be difficult at times, and I think that this song kind of really helps break that down. For you, where did the initial catalyst or the idea for the song come from?
It actually came from a dream. I'm a person who's extremely interested in dreams. I think psychology is very interesting, and I think we have a lot to learn from ourselves, especially in our dreams. So I tend to pay attention to mine maybe a little bit more than others might. But I keep a little dream journal, and sometimes if certain dreams stick with me throughout the day, I start thinking, you know, maybe there's some meaning behind this. So I did some research on a dream I had, and long story short, it was telling me that I was rejecting parts of myself and that my life wasn't going to be able to reach its full potential until I stepped into that power and embraced all sides of what make me, me. So I started saying these little mantras to myself every day. I just picked some super personal qualities that I thought maybe needed more attention and appreciation. You know, I picked that I'm creative, I'm fearless, as well as the feminine masculine line. And those were all just things that I had been reminding myself for a few weeks, and incorporating into my day-to-day, trying to change my perspective and trying to change my thoughts. And one day I was in rehearsal and my band and I were kind of just jamming out, and I was freestyling, and I just started singing these things that I had been saying. They really just flowed out of me by a happy accident, I guess. But there was a moment where me and a couple of my bandmates kind of shared a look as I was singing those things, like, yeah, this is something. There's some power here. So I went home and I was just kind of getting creative. I like to do some beat surfing sometimes to get the juices flowing. I was trying to find something that was a similar vibe and a similar key as to what we were playing in rehearsal, just to see if I could, start writing a little more of the song. And I just took a video on my phone. I originally hadn't even recorded it in the TikTok app. I was just recording it to, maybe send to a couple of my bandmates or send to the people close to me to get their thoughts. And I thought, some girl across the country might be laying in her bed, scrolling on her phone, having a really bad day. And if I post this, maybe it'll reach the people it needs to reach and, make her day a little brighter. So I posted it, obviously having no idea that it would reach such astronomical heights. And so I posted it and just went on with my night. I didn't even open the app for the whole rest of the night, including like the morning into the next day. And a couple of my friends were texting me saying, Emily, you need to check your TikTok. So I went on there and it was already exploding, absolutely exploding. People were already making videos to it. It was already starting to become a trend. In literally 24 hours, I believe it had reached at least hundreds of thousands. Really, really went up there really quick. So it's been, like I said, it's been a really crazy whirlwind of events, and it happened so fast that I think I'm still starting to process the gravity of the impact the song has had on people. And it's really, really incredible to watch.
Yeah, of course. I can only imagine the kind of, the kind of journey it's already taken you on just so far.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite parts of that story is the fact that you recorded it, put it onto TikTok, and then I believe just went out to a bar with friends and kind of had a few drinks and left it. And I think that's almost, it's never nice having like a hangover or, like feeling slightly dusty the morning after, but I imagine that's a much nicer way to shake that off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge drinker. I try to, if I do drink, I try to chug a bunch of water so that I don't feel horrible the next day. But I gotta say, if there was going to be a hangover, it was non-existent because I was over the moon.
I guess when you kind of do wake up and you're checking your phone and you have seen that it's not just reaching like the thousands, it's going hundreds of thousands, what is that feeling kind of like, knowing that many people are resonating with this feeling or this kind of mantra that you're putting out there?
Surreal is definitely the word I would use to describe it, is surreal. Especially when you actually try to fathom or picture, say, 100,000 people in one area, in one spot. That's an incredible amount of people. That's not even the amount of people. I think less than that fits in a stadium, That's absolutely insane, let alone millions. Because I think right now it's at like almost 100 million views, and that's like unfathomable to try to picture that many people. It's surreal. It's seriously surreal. It has like taken off on such a global scale. It's exceeded my wildest dreams for sure. It really, really has.
It is very cool, and it is wonderful that a song, again, touching on self-empowerment, all those kind of things, has resonated and that it's kind of struck a nerve with people. I know that both of your parents are creative. I don't believe that they're musically creative, but they are in creative fields. What is their kind of thoughts or their reaction on their daughter kind of becoming a global sensation?
I think, first of all, they're over the moon, of course. They're incredibly proud. I'm also their only child. So I think they're just so happy to see, their daughter, their kid making such an impact. And I'm happy I get to be that. I'm happy I get to make them proud. And secondly, I really think that they're relieved. I think they're taking a huge sigh of relief, knowing that I'm not going to be working 2 jobs for the rest of my life. I think they're relieved.
Yeah.
Any parent would be. They're like, oh my God, thank God it worked out.
There is always, I imagine, the thought of you want your child to follow your dreams and be a musician, but you also want them to be more successful, and obviously that has worked out for you.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you first kind of fell in love with music? And as I mentioned, I know they're in creative fields, but when you first kind of sat down and thought that music was something that you wanted to pursue as like a career?
It's funny because when people ask me this question, I have to think hard. I genuinely don't remember a time in my life where music wasn't the most important thing to me. I don't know, maybe my parents just played a bunch of music while I was in the womb, and then I came out like, yeah, I'm a rock star. But I've been singing for as long as I can remember. This is a really funny story, actually, but my aunt was watching me when I was a baby, and my mom came home from work, and my aunt said, oh, thank God you're home. Thank God you're home. I can't do it anymore. And my mom's like, what? What do you mean? And she's like, I've been singing for like 8 hours because this child won't stop crying unless I'm singing. I don't know. I just have been, like, music has been in my DNA since I was apparently an infant. And I sang, I did my first performance when I was 6 at my school talent show, and I sang No One by Alicia Keys. And my family was like,
nice.
Maybe you want to pick like an easier song, honey. Like maybe you want to pick something that's easier for you to remember and easier for you to sing. And I was like, no, I'm singing No One by Alicia Keys. And I did it. And I've just always been that way. It's always been music for me. It really always has. And then in high school, I was in musical theater, and I was recording with a friend who had taken up producing, in his garage, and we would just sit there and make random tracks. And I really started to realize this is the path. Like, this is my purpose here. It's like, this is my path. This is what I'm meant to do. And I've always loved it more than anything, but I think it really was probably high school when I started to realize that is where my passion really lies, and that no matter what, I was going to make it happen. And it's funny because now I'll run into people who congratulate me and say that they're so proud of me, and they'll bring up stuff that I don't even remember. Like, apparently freshman year, a friend of mine asked me what I think I wanted to do, and I said very confidently, I'm going to be a singer. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, good luck with that. And they were congratulating me. And I was like, that's crazy. I don't even remember that. But I guess I've been saying that since I was like 14 years old. So I guess I can't dumb it down to one moment. It's just always been there.
Of course. Well, it's very lucky that you have backed it up. You have shown them that you did follow through with it. With I guess, coming up and because you are still quite young, do you remember some of those earlier influences, I guess, when you're starting to learn to sing? And because, again, as you mentioned, Alicia Keys, No One, it is it's not a walk in the park. That song is like a bit of work, so it should be yeah.
Hey, it's Sharon, and here's where it gets interesting. Raise your hand if you want salon perfect nails for just $2 a manicure. Yeah, me too. With the Olive & June Mani system, you can say goodbye to expensive services that take hours and hours and love your nails more than ever. I would know. I've been doing it for years. Get 20% off your first Mani system with code PERFECTMANI20 at oliveandjune.com/PERFECTMANI20. That's PERFECTMANI20 at oliveandjune.com/PERFECTMANI20.
This summer, Instacart presents famous summer flavors coming to your front door. Or pool. Or hotel.
Your grocery delivery has arrived, sir.
That was faster than room service.
No violins in the lobby.
Oh, seriously? Anyway, sit back, relax, and get delivery in as fast as 30 minutes. Starring your favorite snacks, drinks, and more. Download Instacart for free delivery on your first 3 orders. Rated H for hungry audiences. Offer valid for a limited time. Minimum $10 per order. Excludes restaurants. Additional terms and fees apply.
Growing up, I listened to a lot of older music and mostly soul singers. So I listened to a lot of Motown, a lot of funk, like The Temptations, Sly and the Family Stone, the Beatles, and then some of like the current singers that were popular at that time that I really took a liking to were Amy Winehouse, Alicia Keys, Duffy. I listened to a lot of Joss Stone growing up, Lauryn Hill, Mariah Carey. It was always soul singers that I really, really, really took a liking to.
I feel like one person that you just mentioned then, which is always kind of not underrated, but I feel gets left out is Joss Stone, which I feel that there are similarities between some of your music and hers. I can hear like vocal, maybe not runs, but like there's something in the tones of voice that I think is very similar with Joss Stone.
Yeah. Just like stylistic choices.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, definitely some similarities. And I listen to her music now, the same album that I listened to when I was a little kid, and it still hits me the same. I just love her. I love her, and always have, always will. I will always rep Joss Stone. She was definitely a huge vocal influence. I was in 4th grade listening to that album and trying to show it to my little friends, and I remember my friends being like, "Girl, what is this? Like, what do you mean?" It's just like adult music, but I don't know. I've just always been that way.
It is what is it? Is it the Soul Sessions? Is that the record?
Yeah. Yes. The one with
Fell in Love with a boy or girl.
A girl can't believe it. Head Turner, Daydreamer. I think is one of them. That was one of my favorites. Music. She had a Lauryn Hill collab on that song called Music.
That's right.
And yeah, that song is just absolutely incredible. And from a really early age, I just remember thinking, I want to be this.
I've forgotten like a number of the tracks on that album. That is quite a solid album from memory, yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And I loved the cover art, how they painted on her body, and they had the paint that was on her body match the wall that was behind her, and then her name was like in graffiti on the wall, like she was part of the graffiti art. It was really cool.
That's right. Lots of memories flooding back, but yes, Joss Stone, definite reference I can hear in some of your music. With I Am Woman obviously going gangbusters around the world, I guess that the next logical question would be that can we expect more music from you? Can we expect an EP or album at some point this year?
Oh, yes. I have a lot of new music coming. I've been working my little tail off, trying to get it all done, trying to finish this project. And I really think that it's going to give people a little bit more of an insight as to who I am as a person and tell a little bit more of my story and really set a precedence for the type of artist that I'm trying to be going forward. I'm really excited for this project. I really, really am.
It is a very exciting time for you. I know you also got announced for... What is it, for Firefly, the music festival?
Firefly, yes. I'm so excited. I'm so honored that I'm getting festival offers considering I haven't toured yet. So I'm hoping to tour in the summer, though. That's being talked about right now. But I'm very honored and I'm super excited. Lots of amazing names on that lineup. And I saw my little name down there at the bottom. I was jumping for joy.
I was going to say that lineup looks who was on there? There's like My Chem, Dua Lipa, a range of artists, and yourself, of course. What can people kind of expect from that show? And as you mentioned, the hopefully forthcoming tour.
Obviously, I'm going to perform I Am Woman, and I can't wait until the day I actually get to perform that live at a big show because I just know everybody in the crowd is going to be screaming the lyrics, and that's going to be an insane feeling. So definitely I Am Woman, and I'll probably be playing mostly newer tracks from my EP, and then a couple of the older tracks, like Wanting More was actually my first song I released as Emmy Meli, and I wasn't expecting it to get the amount of attention that it did, but it's actually the runner-up on Spotify after I Am Woman, so definitely gonna have to play that one. But I'm hoping to play a lot of my new music at a festival. Like, that's so fun. That's so awesome. I'm really excited.
It is exciting to think that you do have all this kind of new music coming soon, or this new music coming soon. Having a look, do you find that songwriting now, especially that this song's taken off, do you find that you've found not more pressure, but that there's more of a forethought into what you're writing and the songs that you're creating, or is it just a kind of ignoring the outside influences and just focusing on the task at hand?
I think it's a little bit of both. There is a lot more pressure surrounding it now, because when you're making music and barely anybody's listening, it's almost more freeing because you feel completely free to just take creative liberties and get crazy with it and follow your heart and put out whatever you want to put out. And the people who like it, and those who don't. But when there's a larger audience and all eyes are on you waiting to see what you're going to do, there is a lot of pressure surrounding that. And that's the thing, like, I created that pressure, so I'm trying to utilize it to push me to do better rather than crumbling under it and like allowing it to take over and freak me out, you know? So I'm trying to change the narrative a little bit and keep beating myself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, of course. That's not a bad way to kind of approach it, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Emmy, as we mentioned, I think I might have mentioned it before we started recording, was that today is International Women's Day. Obviously, having the singer of I Am Woman is a perfect kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It just seems very fitting that we have you on the show today. For a number of our listeners, what kind of, advice or secrets, tips, whatever, if you could share some of your wisdom with younger women who are trying to kind of do the same as yourself and get into the music industry or get into songwriting?
Mm-hmm. My advice would be, don't stop. And I've heard a lot of industry people give that advice, but it really is the best possible advice you can give somebody, because when you work hard enough at plan A and you put all your energy and attention into that thing in your life, logically, it is going to, continue to build. You're going to find abundance in that thing when you're putting your energy towards your passion. And don't get me wrong, there's so many times where you want to give up because it's not easy. It's not easy at all to be any kind of entrepreneur, let alone an artist. But that's what makes it so rewarding. I truly think that anything worth having is something worth working hard for. And my best advice that I could give would be to not stop. Don't stop because of people's opinions. Don't stop because it gets hard. Don't stop because you allow fear to take over. That's the worst possible thing you can do. Everybody has fear that they're not going to succeed. But when you approach things from the I can do no wrong level, when you approach things with the mindset of nothing is going to get in my way, so there's no reason to be fearful, I really think that you can make anything you want to do happen. It's really just logical. It really is. Like, if you study, you get A's. If you work hard towards one thing, you will succeed. It's just a matter of having the drive and believing in your passion enough. So that would definitely be my advice, is to not stop, because somebody will hear you and somebody will believe your story and somebody will resonate with it.
I think that's very, very solid advice, and I do agree with that. I think that what is the expression? Like, persistence is key, or whatever it may be. But I think, that is very, very good advice.
And meditate.
Yes.
Meditating is huge. Meditate. Get to know yourself. Get to really get into introspection and meditate, because when you can manifest crazy things. Like, life's potential is completely limitless.
It is very cool and very, very good advice. Emmy, lastly, we would usually ask our guests what they're currently listening to. Is there anything at the moment that's kind of got a bit of a spin on your record player or streaming service, respectively?
Yes, I can't stop listening to Fantasy by Mariah Carey, the Old Dirty Bastard remix.
Solid.
That's what I'm listening to every time I get in the car.
That is a very, very solid choice, and I think a perfect cap. Emmy, thank you very much for your time today. Congratulations again on the success of I'm Woman, and thank you for being on the podcast.
Yes, thank you for having me.
And that's our show. A massive thank you to Emmy Meli for her time. I Am Woman is out now, and we've left links in the show notes if you'd like to stream Emmy's music. We also want to give a huge shout out to Bron at Sony Music Australia for helping out with today's interview. If you like this show, please subscribe wherever you get your pods and stay up to date when new episodes are released. We release new shows each Wednesday and Friday morning, and we now have a Patreon, which you can find within the show notes of this episode. You can follow the playlist profile on Spotify, and you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Until next week, cheers.